All right, we're live with Millie. Millie, I'm going to share my screen with you. And let's put your chart in. Millie, when's your birthday?
September 16th, 1973
Mhm.
at 5:29 a.m. in Taipei, Taipei, Taiwan.
Are you Asian ethnically?
I'm half.
Half. Okay.
Yeah.
Is your father Taiwanese?
No, my mother was Chinese.
Chinese. Okay. So did your parents meet? How come you're born in Taiwan?
My dad was in the military, and I didn't know my biological mother well. It's my understanding that most of the women in her family got involved with US GIs to come to the US. So my biological mother and my father got together in Taiwan. I was born there on the military base. And then shortly after I was born, like within 6 months or so, we moved to Wichita, Kansas.
With your biological mother?
Yes, but
Because
they
you keep
didn't stay
referring.
together. Yeah,
Okay. Right, because you keep saying biological. That's throwing me off a bit.
you're right. Yeah, my dad remarried when I was about 10.
And you went with your dad, I guess.
Well, we originally went with my mother, but when I was about 7, there was a sudden call to my dad asking him to take me and my sister. And so from then on, I lived with my dad.
From 7.
Yes.
Wait, didn't you say they separated when you were 10?
3. He got
3.
remarried when I was 10.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay. Can you help me understand a bit better? He got a call at 7. What does that mean?
When I was 7 years old, my biological mother called him and asked him to take my sister and I.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna move now inside.
Okay.
All right. Okay, sounds good. Mhm. Yeah. So, so you went with him when you were 7, and then what happened with your mom?
I don't really know. We reconnected later in life and she died about 23 years ago.
Wow.
But she was really vague, and she did at one point explain that her family felt she was bad luck and she thought giving my sister and I up was doing the best thing for us. And it wasn't a very good situation there with her. She was essentially leaving my sister and I home alone at night while she worked at, 3, 4, 5 years old, which as an adult I can see is not a very healthy home life.
Mm-hmm. So you basically lost touch with your biological mom at 7 and for a while thereafter.
Yes.
And you didn't stay in touch.
No, I don't think any of us really knew how to get in touch with her. She would pop up every now and then. I was about 20 when she resurfaced abruptly asking me for money. So
Oh,
didn't even just pose it as money, but said that she needed good luck from me.
oh.
So, and that's when she explained the whole story. Apparently, in China, you study for university, and she did amazingly well in math, like the top 1% in math. And instead of her family being happy about that and proud about that, they said she shamed her brothers by doing better than them. And
Mm,
so it sounded like her upbringing was really complicated, and I feel like she did the best she could, but there was probably some mental illness and other issues at play.
hmm And when your father remarried, did your new mom have kids already?
No.
Hmm. Did you get along with her?
Yes.
Oh, you did. Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm. Okay. There's something coming up for me already. A few things actually. Actually, your chart is very interesting because you have a lot of things that are all at 3 degrees.
Yes. And I have 3 yods that I'm trying to figure out what they mean.
Oh, it's pretty simple. We'll go through them one by one.
Okay.
Um, and of course, we won't get through everything, but still. So, for me, what I really notice is like this triangle happening here. I don't hear the eighth house just yet because I didn't get too much information yet, but I feel the Saturn in Cancer. The first you were living with your mom, she was leaving you behind because she was working all the time. She was busy, so you didn't have access to her. You were being left alone. And then there was the call to your father, and she gave you up. And so
Mhm.
not having access to mom, and she kind of disappeared. I don't know how, I guess as a child, obviously that was completely devastating for you. So there I feel the moon Saturn sextile Cancer. But the Venus part intrigued me because you said that when she came back to reconnect with you at 20, it was for money and for luck.
Yeah. Yeah.
And did you give her money or luck?
I did. I gave her $200 or $300, which was a lot of money for me at 20.
And was that all? Was that it?
That was it. And until I was 30, it was 2003, and I got a call from my sister that somehow a hospital in Chicago was in touch with our family because she was dying of breast cancer.
Wow. Okay.
So I did go out there to visit her. It was a challenging visit, and I left and like 2 weeks went by, and I literally went to bed one Sunday night saying I should call next week because I knew it was bad. And I got a phone call in the middle of the night that she had passed.
Okay. Hmm. How did you Yeah, I don't know how exactly to ask that, but how did you kind of manage, or especially when there was the first departure?
Um, that's a good question. And you said that you imagined that was like devastating, but I don't really remember it that way. I actually don't have a lot of really early childhood memories, which some people say is like trauma and things like that. I don't think that there was trauma or abuse in the way that most people think about it. I think it was more neglect
Hmm.
than traditional ways that people think about trauma or abuse. So I think I think I was happy to go live with my dad. My grandmother moved in with us. I don't remember being like, "Oh gosh, I'm so happy that's done." Like, but I just remember generally being happy. And I think I've always been somebody who just goes with the flow and does what needs to be done and is very independent and self-reliant. So one of the big memories I have from growing up is knowing what time it was to walk to school. We were living in Los Angeles, and I knew when a certain cartoon came on TV that it was time for me to walk to school, which sounds crazy to me because I have 3 kids and I can't imagine, but I've just always been very highly functional, scrappy.
Hmm. Okay. Just give me a moment. It started raining hard, so I'm gonna close the windows. Okay. So we're gonna come back to that. Can you give me a little information about where are you at today? Like, how does Millie live? What does Millie do?
Millie is a vagabond right now. That's what my friend Val says. This is my vagabond year. So in fall of 2011, I got a call completely out of the blue from a search firm, a headhunter, who brought me to my next job. And I worked that job from 2022 till the middle of 2024. And then I got
Sorry,
another call.
one moment. You said fall of 2011. Did you mean fall of
No,
2021?
2000, yeah, 2021.
Okay.
And then I worked there until June of 2024 because in April of that year, I got another call from another headhunter who connected me to a job in Vermont. And so I always wanted to live in Vermont. My youngest kid was like a junior, senior in college, so he was pretty independent. My other two were independent, and it wasn't that far. It was only 3-4 hours away. So I ended up taking that job. But then last September, so it was September 2025, I was laid off.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been doing contract work and freelance work and collecting unemployment. And I've been traveling around a little bit. I spent a couple weeks out in Milwaukee and so Wisconsin and Minnesota in February. I spent almost all of April in Denver. And now my youngest son is graduating next week, so I'm here in Massachusetts for a few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So my life is very up in the air. I have a couple of job opportunities, but I'm very conflicted as to whether or not I should launch my own business, whether I should actively look for another job. Like all of the jobs recently have come to me, so it's very foreign to search for a job.
Mm-hmm. And what is your field of work?
I went to art school and I'm a graphic designer, and I had my own design firm for a while. I worked in the magazine industry in New York City. And then when my husband and I split up in 2011, I got a job at a college, which I feel was a very fated incident. So that job was looking for a graphic designer to bring their magazine in-house. I had never worked for a college before. Um, I had been sort of intrigued by another job that I didn't get. And this job from applying to getting it was about 2 weeks. So it was just sort of like I feel like it was just like an eclipse moment or something like that. I don't actually know if it was an eclipse moment, but it did feel like that. And the other two jobs had that quality too. So I spent 9 years at that first college, 2.5 years at the second college, and then just over a year at the third college. And right now, I have a couple of job prospects at other colleges.
Uh-huh. In the university.
Yeah.
And you do graphic design still.
Yes. Well, I've gone more broad to lead communications more broadly. So instead of doing the graphic design, I'm the team leader who works with the writers, the social media, the web team, the designers.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's still just a little hard for me to picture because I have zero experience being in that kind of environment.
Like
But
a college or university environment
well,
or
being like working in design, being on a team, doing design for the team, that's all new for me, I don't
yeah.
but so can you say a bit of so what might you do as a designer?
As a designer, I would do everything from create digital graphics for social media to design the magazine, the print layout, to like the view book, to art direct photo shoots. art direct
Mhm.
video shoots. Like I don't create the video, but I work really closely with my multimedia folks to decide what the tone is, what the script is, what the look and feel is, and then they get the footage and piece it together. So it's a really collaborative process.
Okay. Oh, is that me or is that you?
It's not me.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Just a moment. Okay. Oh no. Okay. Um, okay, what I actually feel most of all now, actually, I see a lot of things are opening up in your chart, but you'll see that because you have so many planets that are making exact aspect, it's a little hard to divide each of them, but I'm going to try to do it anyway. I'm going to start with, honestly, these four. So, what first comes up for me is your sun that is sitting on your ascendant in Virgo, because Virgo for me is Mercury, right? So when you
Mm-hmm.
work with multimedia, you work with the font, the text, um, yeah, how are you, which elements are you going to use in design? Which colors are you going to use? What size, what parameters are you going to have? How's the magazine going to be arranged? Right? So for me, all of that work that you described is very Virgo. Everything that you're doing there is Virgo. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay. And because you said it's like really collaborative and you're working with on a team pretty much all the time, there I feel your Mercury Jupiter trine. The Mercury in Libra, I would say, is like you talking with the team, like making creative decisions. No, we should do it like this. No, we should do it like that. Or I think, right? So there's a lot of like making decisions together, talking together about how something can go together. And also just understanding like what does the person you're working for want. And then the Jupiter in Aquarius for me is a few things. One of them is just that you work in groups. Right. And so it's not like you're doing that work alone, what some designers do, but it's a collaborative effort where the whole team is involved. And I guess you learn a lot about teamwork and you work with lots of different teams on lots of different projects. Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
Because
Uh,
especially as I've gone further in my career, I don't have to just work with my creative team. I'm very much responsible for working with leadership at the college or university to understand what we're doing and the value we bring and understand their goals and what they want us to achieve as an organization. So it is very, very collaborative.
okay. That makes me think about Saturn now. That's in your 10th. The square with Mercury makes me think because the organization is the one that kind of has the final say. They're
Mm-hmm.
also the ones to have the budget, right? And so you have to follow their rules. And so
Yes.
there I feel the Saturn in the 10th coming in.
And
Because
these are
also
all very old institutions. They're all
uh-huh.
over 100 years old. They're.
Okay. Okay. Because of the Cancer there, now I also see you as a mentor.
I would say that's true.
Yeah. And I feel that you kind of have the big image of everything that needs to be done and the steps that need to be taken to get there. So I feel a lot of flow happening.
Yes, when things are going well, there's a lot of flow.
Okay. Mhm. Okay. Did things go well typically, usually? What is one of the
Yes.
conflicts you might have, for example, in your work?
I would say the conflicts were mostly external. They were things like resources constraints, like budget issues, or in
Uh-huh.
higher ed in the US, there's a lot of external forces because there's something called the enrollment cliff. Starting in 2008, the birth rate went down dramatically. So there just aren't as literally as many babies being born to go to college. And then I think because costs have become so high, people are questioning whether there's value in going in college. So I think that the challenges are mostly external.
Well, from what I heard, it's a lot about budget.
Yeah.
So does that mean like you'll have a project and then many times it'll be like what you want to do is not in the budget?
Yes. Or say the team is too small. Like we really need 12 people on the team, but we only have budget for 7.
I
So,
see. And so that makes you then you have to do the work of more people.
right. Or something suffers, like the maybe the quality of execution can't be what we envisioned because we have too many things that we need to
Mhm.
do. So
Okay, now I'm really starting to feel the Saturn in the 10th. Um, was that common that you had these kinds of constraints, like the team is too small, budget's not
it's
enough?
very common. That's one of the reasons why I've questioned if I want to go stay in higher ed,
Hmm.
is that the work is very interesting to me. I believe in education. I was the first person in my family to go to college. Um, but
Hmm.
it's challenging to me when our society doesn't necessarily value it.
Okay, there's two things coming up for me on that. First of all, again, Saturn in the 10th, especially the trine to Venus in your second, makes me think about the constant money constraints in the work that you do. So you probably have to cut costs places oftentimes, even though you don't want to. And that's uncomfortable for you because I guess you care a lot about, the end product.
Yes. Yes.
Mhm. Yeah, and so feeling, I think you also have a vision, like you know exactly what you want to produce, and sometimes you just aren't allowed.
Correct.
Yeah, I feel the Venus Saturn in what I'm saying to you. The other part from you, okay, it's about your sun rising in Virgo again, right? Because Virgo is schooling, can be.
Hmm.
And you're in the college department around lots of young people, which is also Virgo, right? Virgins, people who are kind of growing up, learning things. They don't know about the real world yet, but they're curious and they're asking lots of questions. That's another level of Virgo. Makes me think also about you having 3 kids. So I guess you were, also as raising them, I can see you being more of a teacher to them as well.
I would definitely say I mean obviously I'm a nurturer, I'm a mother, but I would say that for all 3 of my kids they come to me a lot for career advice or other advice, so that feels accurate.
Hmm. Yeah, and the career advice again. Hmm. Did you raise your kids together with your partner?
No, but we had a pretty good co-parenting relationship. Um, we split up in 2011, so that made my youngest child was 8 and my oldest was 12. So he lived nearby, and I would say we were both very active parents.
Uh-huh. So you coordinated a lot on childcare.
They actually didn't spend much time in childcare because prior to our split for the parental split, I had my own studio. I didn't have a 9 to 5 job. So they were all in school by the time we split up. So,
By that I mean childcare. I didn't mean like going to
oh,
preschool, or I meant like you and him, like, okay, you take the kids here. Yeah, you that's what I
yes.
mean.
Yes, I actually wouldn't say it was even all throughout the years. It was some years where he did more and I did less. It wasn't like we weren't in the kids' lives or anything like that, but it was definitely maybe he had them 4 or 5 days and I had them 2 or 3 days, and then it switched over the years. So there
Hmm.
was a lot of back and forth, which I think it's good for kids to not just depend on one parent and to know each parent well.
Okay, here I'm feeling the cardinal square between your Mercury and Libra and your Saturn and Cancer. So here I feel like all the switching that's happening over the time, but at the end of the day, it's always about the same thing, which is about the kids, right?
Yeah.
Taking care, raising them. So sometimes he's going to take them for all, sometimes you're going to take them. Yeah, so there I feel like the Libra Cancer process again and again and again.
Yeah.
You said you had a studio, so you were working from home.
I did. And then at one point, I even had an office in town. So it was very much like working somewhat solo. I had a business partner at some point, but that relationship's dissolved too.
Mm-hmm. So work was pretty like a part of your daily life and being with the kids.
Yes.
Uh-huh. So was it sometimes that like you had to manage your attention between the work and then the kids?
Yes.
Can you say more about that?
Um, I I had like 2 days a week where I would have somebody come in and help with the kids.
Hmm.
I often, because I worked for myself, I could work unconventional hours, so I could be with them during the day and work late into the night, which wasn't the best for me, but it helped stretch the time.
Okay. There I see Saturn in Cancer in your 10th from the sense of one of the constraints in your working life is that you have children that you're responsible for. Therefore, you have to work around their schedules, like being with them in the day, but then working late into the night. So
Yeah.
there again, I see Saturn in Cancer in the 10th, and I start to feel the moon there in the 8th, because you said you would have someone come a few times a week to take care of them, right? So trusting your kids in someone's care.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. But now your kids are all out of the house, so you're kind of on your own, right?
Yes. I think for the first time, and except maybe, I got married really young, like 20, 21. And I think for the first time, I feel like I can do almost anything I want.
Uh-huh. Okay. Since when?
How long have I felt like a
Yeah,
potential freedom?
when did that sort of, yeah, when did that liberation come?
I would say July 2024 to the fall of 2025, especially once I was laid off. I didn't have that day-to-day responsibility to go in to the office. My youngest kid that September, he started his last year of college, so I knew that I would be done paying for his tuition.
Hmm.
Um,
I see. So you're also paying for their schooling.
yes, but working in higher ed
Aha.
was also, that's why I feel like working in higher ed was very much like a fated, because I had no aspirations to work at a college or university. It was just something that kind of fell in my lap. And when you work in higher ed, you know the system really well. You can get incredible discounts or trading among schools. So I've put all three of my kids through school by myself. Their dad did not help at all with on that front.
Aha. Okay. Brilliant. Okay. A few things coming up from you. One of them is that the ruler of your ninth house is Venus, and Venus is in your second house. So this makes me think about you having so much access to the world of education, understanding it well, receiving your money from it, caring about it as a core value, right? Sending your kids to school, right? And so this triangle here between Venus, the moon, and Saturn now makes me think about you sending your kids to school all on your own dime. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I can see that like motherhood has also been one of the I mean, now that you tell me that you paid for your kids' school as well, I see that you're kind of very committed.
Yes. And I feel like I've done well, but I'm certainly not rich. I've always been able, I think, to do a lot, like maximize whatever I have
Hmm.
with my resources. So,
Do you feel like there's always been a ceiling?
I mean, maybe before, but I think especially after the first headhunter job in 2021, it made me realize there is no ceiling. Like I think I've always felt abundant and that I can people use the word manifest a lot. I don't think it's like just magic. You think about something and you necessarily get what you want, but I think I've been able to think big and not think small for probably my whole life.
Hmm.
But I think right now what's I know rationally and I think I know intuitively if I started my own business, I could probably do better financially. But I think that I'm drawn to this security that I've enjoyed for the last 15 years.
Hmm.
And I don't know what to do. I feel like
Hmm.
maybe with my, midheaven and Gemini, I don't know if I'm rationalizing it that maybe I should do both for a while because my idea is to do business astrology and do branding that's informed by astrology, like graphic design. And I feel like that could be a really great business. It could be more fun than higher ed. Um, but I'm a little bit scared to do it.
From what sense?
Financially, for one, even though if I were talking to a friend, I would point out that when you have a job and a salary, they tell you how much you make. But when you're self-employed, there's no ceiling.
Hmm.
But it's hard. Or it's hard for me right now. I don't know why it's so hard. It's a little bit puzzling for me why it's so hard.
Good. Oh, good. Let's think about that. So, what exactly is hard at the moment?
To make the jump, to do all the things that I need to do. Um, I think it's strange to me that I feel like I sometimes need that structure of a real job and people who depend on me to do the things that I need to do. That
Hmm.
to get past my perfectionism, I think I procrastinate and I know what I need to do, but it's hard for me to do that with outside accountability.
Hmm. Well, in the sense of that's what you're used to, kind of.
It is, but I think that was also challenging for me before I got this job. I wanted, I wanted things to be perfect or I wanted things to be better. I think it's like that shadow side of the Virgo it can be crippling for me where I just don't get anything done.
Can you give another example of that?
Um, like I'll have a design or a look and feel in my head if I'm doing a project, like a personal project or, a freelance project. But then I have trouble sometimes sitting down and just doing, like making a schedule and getting things done. And because I don't have somebody necessarily saying, that they're not expecting a video by May 27th. If when I don't have that outside accountability, I have trouble sometimes starting for personal projects and things like that.
So you're kind of used to the pressure moving you, the deadlines.
Yes. But that wasn't just with the last 15 years. I think that I had this challenge. Like in school, you have deadlines with school when you know what I mean? Like, so, and I don't understand why I have this challenge because I do think that I'm accountable. I do know how to break down projects into smaller chunks, but it's my real Achilles heel.
It's making me think a lot about what I have up on the screen. Saturn in the 10th in this case for me is trusting an authority, a reliable authority, someone who's above you hierarchically, who can give the parameters and the deadlines and also kind of absorb the huge accountability and responsibility, right? There's a system. And your moon in Taurus makes me think about, of course, needing something that is very stable, very practical. And the part where you said you love to be dependable. And so there I saw the connection between the moon and Saturn, that you like it when you can be a dependable person for the bosses, for example. They can show you exactly what to do and you just make it happen. That it's natural for you that way. Yeah.
Yes. I would say that it feels natural for me is exactly right.
And also I feel that you have worked with so many people in authority positions. And that's very comfortable for you. Like, you know how to, yeah, that is just your world.
Right. So is that like a South Node thing that I need to release? And, like I don't.
Ah, interesting. Oh, look at that. Hmm. No, why would you need to release? Because you want to move on to something different.
Or is it a growth edge, right? Like, will I break through a constraint if I learn how to break out of that and be more accountable to myself than some other figure or some other institution?
Okay, for me, it's more like this. You know what? Not Pluto. Let's go with Neptune this time. Because Neptune is making a more exact square. So I felt like, yeah, let's just try Neptune instead. So notice that transiting Neptune is at 3 degrees Aries, squaring your Saturn at 3 degrees Cancer. Exact. This is happening right now. And in this case, from what we've been talking, Saturn in your 10th would be like, okay, so you have worked for so many years as a graphic designer in the university space. And you got used to that. You built a career there. You built competence there. Okay, so that's kind of your place of comfort. But now suddenly it's like you want to go your own way and be independent. That's Aries. That's also Saturn that has just entered Aries recently, right? Because Aries is the entrepreneur. Aries is the willpower. Aries is I have an idea, I'm going to make it happen. So now that Saturn is moving through Aries, that part is making me think about you questioning yourself. Well, can I be a self-starter? Can I motivate myself? Can I sit down and do these things that I'm supposed to do just because? But Saturn is very early still in Aries because he just entered a few months ago. He's going to be there for about 2 more years. So that makes me think about how early you are in that process of self-motivating and figuring out if you can be the person to make it happen. The second part for me is the Neptune square, because here I see how you're entering a whole new world where you don't really know what the self-employment route is like. And so you're kind of one so used to someone telling me can I really, do I need, do you see that?
I do.
Okay. So in my opinion, it's not about something that you have to do right now or figure out. It's more like you're in the middle of a process. And that process is transitioning you from one chapter of your life into the other. And I want to point out something else that I think is going to make a lot of sense to you. All right. There's a lot going on, but really the message is very simple. We had discussed early on that most of your chart is at 3 degrees. right? Saturn, the moon, Mercury, Pluto, Venus, Neptune, Jupiter. They're all around 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Every outer planet is currently in the first 5 degrees of a sign. Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto are all majorly aspecting your entire chart.
I know.
So when you go through those outer planetary transits, it is very destabilizing and chaotic for a period because you're going through a transition. They're upending your life and taking you into a whole different reality. And so all 3 of them are around 3 degrees at the moment. That for me tells me what a massive energy is working through you this year and next. So for me, that you're contemplating, but you're not too sure, but you really want to, and I can feel that there's momentum for you. This is what is happening for me. It's those transits. So the uncertainty is very normal, but I feel like it's not like you will develop those skills through this process of these planets, but it's like a day by day thing. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes me happy to hear.
Okay. Do you notice, is your life like really do you feel how you're entering a different era, perhaps?
For sure. Yeah. I feel like I can live anywhere. I can, yeah.
Okay, so you're becoming like independent from your kids. That's a very new identity as well, I guess.
It is, but honestly, in a lot of ways, I feel closer to them than ever. And I don't feel worried about the distance. Like a flight is a flight, in my opinion, you know?
Mhm. Okay. Now again, I'm feeling the Neptune, Saturn, and Aries. Because remember, they conjoined in February? Yeah, at the end of
Hmm.
February. And they conjoined at 0 degrees of Aries. So that makes me think about this new chapter where you suddenly can go anywhere, you can do anything, you're totally free, Aries. But there's
Yes.
also in that freedom kind of a struggle because what do you do with all that freedom? Where do you put all that energy? How do you direct it?
Yes. And then you add the Uranus because that's when I was laid off, was when Uranus was in Gemini, and then it went back. And then the day that I was laid off, transiting Mars was exactly on my Mercury.
hmm Okay, squaring your Saturn,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. hmm hmm
Like at 3 degrees, like literally, like,
Yeah, exactly. Of
yeah.
course. That's exactly what the planets are doing, right? They make the events happen, every event. So what you say to me makes perfect sense immediately. Okay, so now you're in Vermont. What's in Vermont for you? Oh, no, you said you're in Massachusetts.
I'm
Sorry.
in Massachusetts because there's nothing for me in Vermont. It's a place that I love, and there's a couple of friends there, but I wouldn't even say close friends. So right now, all of my things are in storage
Hmm. Oh, that's interesting. In Vermont or in Massachusetts?
in in Vermont.
Like in one of those garages, public garages.
Yeah. I've said that I think if I say I got a remote job or I went freelance, I would probably come back to this place in Massachusetts. That's where my friends are. It's a place that feels good to me. Um, but I've explored other places too. Like I've I'm not really knowledgeable in astrocartography, but supposedly like Denver is a good area for me. I've looked
Wait, so you're
a
not
friend
settled actually?
No, I'm just sort of house sitting for various friends and doing short-term rentals.
Aha. Oh, I see. So you're kind of exploring
Yeah.
and staying in various like hotels, Airbnbs.
Yeah. Like this is my friend's house They just went away for a week, so I'm taking care of their cats. But I actually used to rent the apartment downstairs. It's a two-family house for like 5 years. So this feels like home to me. We're very close, and but for the times that I don't have a place where somebody needs me, I have been doing like Airbnb or something like that
Okay.
since
This
February.
all right,
Yeah.
very good. Well, let's go to February then.
Yeah.
Okay, so that makes me think about the Aries, right? Because you're on the
Yeah.
move. And so
Yeah.
there's a lot of changes. You're going here, there, da, 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 da. So that makes because now when the Saturn is in Aries, he's making a T square to your Saturn. So there's a lot of cardinal energy active. So
Yeah.
that makes me think about how you're bouncing between houses, and sometimes you're actually helping them house sitting. The house sitting, by the way, also makes me think about your moon in the eighth Taurus, sextile Saturn in Cancer, right? Taking care of someone else's belongings by staying in their
Yeah.
home. Okay. But the
Right.
other part is like the Jupiter transit. So Jupiter's been transiting Cancer since, well, before February even. That makes me think about all the houses that you get to stay in and take care of because it's between your 10th and 11th. Right? The 11th is like staying in hotels,
Right.
traveling, going to different cities, being in Airbnbs, because it's the 11th house, it's the public.
Right.
Whereas Cancer is like the housing, right? And then Jupiter is like, oh, you get to see all these different places. Maybe you get inspired. Oh, it's fun. You move around. Okay. Does that all make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay. That period for me, I guess, is coming to a close at some point because Jupiter is moving into Leo.
I was gonna say I am getting tired of it. I
See?
feel,
Woo!
yeah.
Okay.
I have a place to stay basically until the middle of July, and I've said that if a job is not moving me somewhere, that I need to just pick somewhere.
Uh-huh. Okay, so you're kind of also on a journey of figuring out your next home.
Yeah.
Very Jupiter in Cancer. The other thing is, middle of July is when Jupiter enters Leo.
Yeah. I haven't looked at the date because a friend of mine is a professor and he's in Europe most of the summer, so I'm taking care of his house. And he gave me his dates. So I'm there for like 3 weeks and then not there for two, and then I'm back for another 3 weeks.
Okay, but ultimately you're looking for your next place to kind of set root.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're looking at different cities. Yeah, and you're wondering about, so what's a good fit for me? Where do I like the nature? Where do I like the city infrastructure? It's coming together for
Yeah.
me now. Okay. Now, here I see something very different. It's about the transit of Pluto. So you can see Pluto is at 5, but in fact, he's retrograding already. He's going to go back to 3.
Right.
Okay. So he's going to continue squaring your moon exact. And this part makes me think about how you're in between houses at this time. You're not too sure where you're going to be. Aquarius is the city and the community, right? So it's like, which is the most viable, most fun, most right community for you? Which city infrastructure suits your needs best? Does that all make sense?
It does, and that's exactly what I've been grappling with. Like I like New York City. That's where I went to college. I enjoyed my month in Denver, but my community, my people, they're here where I am in Massachusetts. Like those are the organizations that I used to volunteer for. That's where my friends are. So it's hard for me to decide where to be.
Okay, hold on a minute. If all of your people are in Massachusetts, then why do you even think about going elsewhere?
Because it's exciting, and
Okay.
it's like none of my children will be in Massachusetts as of, you know, this month or so. Like my youngest one or my middle wants to move to Miami. My oldest lives in Minneapolis. And my middle, I guess technically he does live in Massachusetts, but he just moved to Nantucket, which is an island off of Massachusetts. So it's a journey to get to him. It would be ferries and flights, and so I feel like nothing, my family is not tying me to Massachusetts, and I could explore a new place if I want. And I
Mm-hmm.
need to weigh whether exploring a new place and that excitement is more important than my community, as in friends and
Mhm.
organizations.
Very interesting.
And also, I guess I'm single, so like maybe going to a new place, I might meet someone.
Are you already trying to meet someone?
Not hard because I do feel so unsettled.
Hmm.
I stopped seeing somebody last July. So,
Okay. So this is bringing me back to Saturn and Aries again. The excitement of something new. And do I really want to go somewhere new and explore and be free? Or don't I?
that's the
And
question.
the Saturn in the seventh also, because he's been there since, well, for sure before last July. So that makes me think about you breaking up with that person you were seeing, and
Hmm.
now still maybe feeling a sense of like loneliness. I don't know. Do you?
A little bit. I wouldn't say a lot, but yeah, sometimes it would be nice to do things with somebody or, you know, go have dinner. I have so many friends, so I don't feel lonely most of the time.
Okay, that's right. Hmm. That especially makes me think about your Jupiter in Aquarius in the fifth, maybe together with Mercury, actually. Having loads of friends, loving to like have fun together,
For
do
sure. Yeah.
activities and games together, go places together.
Yeah.
Have you started any? Do you like to? Oh, do you play card games?
We do actually. The person that I'm taking care of their house, we used to go to this game meetup like every other week. It's their passion, probably more than mine, but I
Mhm.
like it. But we met through bicycling. Um,
Yes, bicycling,
yeah,
walking. I feel like a walking club.
hiking. Yeah,
Hiking, totally hiking, reading.
yeah.
I also feel you being like a political organizer.
I'm politically active and but I don't organize.
Okay. Okay, I see fundraisers.
I do fundraising for work. It's a big part of higher ed is not only getting the students to come in, but getting the alumni to donate.
Okay. Yeah, I see like going to events.
Hmm.
Hmm. Celebrations. Oh yeah. I feel you loving celebrations, birthdays, holidays.
Yeah.
Okay. So where you are now in Massachusetts, like what does your day-to-day look like? What do you do?
It's there's no routine. I'm trying to get into a routine because I'll be here for a month, but I'm trying to get into a routine of going to the gym and working on the astrology side, like launching a website and content, social media.
Hmm. So you're working on content often.
Um, yes, I have not posted much, but I know that today, social media and content is really
Ah,
important. Yeah.
interesting. Okay, so that made me think about Jupiter entering Leo in your 11th house because that feels like the energy of posting a lot online or more than you do now, let's say. Does that make
Y-
sense to you?
Yeah. And I used to post a lot, but I think as I've become more of like a leader on a team, I've been more inhibited. I don't want to like the
Ah,
scrutiny.
okay. Do you see that square?
Hmm.
The Mercury Pluto, like not talking because you're being considerate of the fact you're a leader and you have a responsibility to that big role. And so you don't speak freely online, posting things. Yeah?
Right.
Okay. But now you're not in that position anymore, right? So you can do that.
Correct. Especially if I'm going to potentially not worry about getting another job. I can do whatever I want.
You know, this square, by the way, also makes me think about you working in the education field always. The Mercury Pluto, because Mercury is like study, right? Whereas Pluto is a generational planet together with Saturn, the responsibility and the work. So, like, on one hand, that's the design, because obviously, when you're designing things, they have to be pretty precise. It has to look good. You have to meet certain parameters. That makes me think about the Saturn Mercury. Yeah. Hmm. And besides making content and going to the gym, of course, I felt in Saturn transiting Aries once again. Is there anything that really like fascinates you or you have a lot of fun doing?
I'd like to get back to some artwork, and I've been working with cyanotype, which is like a sun print. I don't know if you've ever seen those, where you put this chemical liquid on a piece of paper, and then in the past it's been like a lot of like botanical objects and things like that, and you expose it to the sun and it makes like a beautiful blueprint.
You can do it with like clothes and sheets as well, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So I've been interested in exploring art more because I mean that's what I went to school for, was painting, and I
Uh-huh.
truly love graphic design. I didn't pick it just because you can make a career out of it. I really love it. But it would be interesting to do art for art's sake.
Meaning not for work, but just to like enjoy yourself.
Yes.
And do you or do you struggle with starting to
I
just
haven't in a lot of time, I think it's an excuse to say that you don't have time, but I mean, definitely with work and kids and things like that, I have not made it a priority.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. That makes me think about the Venus Saturn again. Mm-hmm.
I've also wondered about the whole, Jupiter in the fifth and just hobbies and
Well, like some of them we have talked about because I was looking at Jupiter when we were talking, like the bicycling club, for example,
yeah.
right? Doing the fundraisers. Aquarius is, when you're in community, but it's also about the city life. Actually, it's many things, Aquarius.
Yeah.
So, the thing is the chart, it's not like there's just a few things and it means just a few things. The actual real message is that the planets are transiting around your chart all the time. There's new events happening every single day. Every event that you experience is a result of all the aspects that are happening in your chart from the transits. And so it's like actually your chart is changing every day. So your Jupiter in the fifth house means something new every day, depending on the transit. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
And so the best way to actually understand what anything in your chart means is just to study the transits as they happen day by day. For example, like after we're finished talking here, one thing you can do, and this is just the first thing that comes up. So your natal sun is at 22 Virgo on the ascendant, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
The transiting Mercury is Cazimi at the moment in your ninth house Taurus.
Yes.
Okay, so this part makes me think about our conversation that we're having just now, because we're
Yeah.
going pretty deep into the astrology. We're really learning a lot, and it's all about you, right, in your chart. And so, but this is just one event that's happened in your day. So if you think about what happened before, what's going to come next, or what happened yesterday, and you just like sit down and reflect, you're going to notice a lot of things about going through the solar trine. And that's going to tell you new things about your sun that you didn't know before. I hope it's okay that I'm sharing that with you.
Yes, I think that's great. I've been thinking that I should journal.
Yes.
Like when I go back and study transits, I feel so lucky in some ways that so much of my life was on email because I'm able to go back and find those timestamps.
Yes. And now you don't have to go back because you can do it actively as it's happening. And in that way, what's really beautiful is that you have all the details in its full complexity and depth, right? Because when something is happening right now, if you reflect on it, you have access to all the information. Whereas if
Right.
you're reflecting on something in the past, there's so much that's gone already.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Even this is the Mercury Cazimi in your 9th house. The suggestion to journal in order to improve the study experience. Together with the Sun in Virgo, who is the journaling person?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, let's pause there for today. So, what did you think about that?
That was really interesting to me, and I liked the serendipity that this conversation happened on the Kazemi. I feel like I'm hoping to have a breakthrough or some clarity about what I want in the next, today. I'm very curious about your house system.
The Placidus.
Okay. That's what I
Because you
thought
use whole
because
sign usually, I
I
guess.
go back and forth and I use both. So, yeah.
Right. Was that confusing for you at all?
No, because I go back and forth.
Okay, good.
But in whole sign, it's my moon and Mars are in the 9th house, which even accentuates the college and university themes even more. But
Totally.
it works both ways.
Right. Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, as long as you know how to read, you will find your way.
Right.
So,
So,
great. I'm
well,
going to
thank you.
stop recording and then you and I can talk for just a couple minutes more, okay?
Sure.
All right. So, Millie and I are signing out.